Howdy friends, welcome back to the next segment of the Nasty Ferguson 1105. I have 2 days to get silver paint on this. Awesome, let's get to it. So friends, I've got a real simple plan of attack for this. If you were able to check out the last video I did on this, which would have been about 2 videos ago I think, you've seen that I was lucky enough to get everything pretty well degreased. Get it all power washed off, you know, just get the main heavy gook off. Well, now I gotta finish the rest of it. Not that it's really all that greasy, but you need to rough stuff up before you spray any primer or paint on it. And, well, this isn't exactly the best wax and grease remover for paint, but it will do the job. The epoxy primer that I put on these basically will stick to a non-stick frying pan. So, I mean, it's pretty good stuff. And it's epoxy, so you can shoot at it with a gun later and probably won't go through it. But all I gotta do right now, I gotta get it all roughed up, and I gotta throw a sheet over this nasty Ferguson cab, throw sheets over the tires, kinda take the back tires and just tape off the rubber part so I can spray the insides of that silver. The insides of the front wheels, I don't know, I'll figure something out. In one of my other videos, one of you or several of you mentioned that using tinfoil is a great way to cover up hoses and stuff. So we're going to run to town, get a roll of tinfoil so I can cover up these hoses, because you want your stuff to look somewhat professional. And if you got a bunch of silver hoses in here, hey, any hack can just go in and spray stuff. A true craftsman takes some time and covers the hoses. Let's get to it. There, friends, now that I got that out of the road, now you might be saying to yourself, hey, you didn't really, the right way would have been to take that thing right down and just sandblast it, and yeah, you're right, I mean, it would have, but again, now, listen to what I'm saying here. Working tractor on a farm, it's not a showpiece. I promise you, when I get all that silver on there, you're gonna see that silver and go, hey, that looks pretty sharp. And guys, when I put attention to detail, that's where the attention's going. All the sheet metal. I mean, nobody walks up to a Massey Ferguson tractor and says, man, that silver looks great. You walk up to a Massey and say, man, that red shines like a tomato. And it will. Sheet metal's kind of my specialty. The everyday heavy duty stuff, it's getting blasted with Emron epoxy and it's getting blasted with silver paint, and it's gonna look just fine. That Emron will do a perfect job of kind of sealing off all that rust that's everywhere. At least as good or better a job than any other within keeping things into a little bit of a budget. So let me take my air hose and blow all that dust off. Then I'll take the actual wax and grease remover, go over the whole tractor one more time, throw a sheet or two over, and get spraying. There we go, guys. That's going to be way better than the average marketplace makeover when I get the silver paint on here. So now comes the fun part. I mean, it's a lot of work to tape that off, which I guess I don't have to tape it all off right now. All I got to do is throw a sheet over it and get the old tinfoil out and cover up everything I don't want painted, including the fuel filters. I got to change those out anyway because I still got to do a whole service on this tractor, which I haven't done. But I thought, you know, I could have done it right now, but I thought to myself, that oil filter looks terrible. Why don't I just go ahead and paint it? Then I'll change it. You know, whatever. Servicing these is pretty easy, guys, but that's another episode for another. So let's start masking off the nasty Ferguson here and make it less nasty. Well, I got the bigger stuff here kind of done up, guys, and a couple of you in the past watching me paint various things and try to cover hoses with tape and paper and struggle have mentioned using the aluminum foil. So, by golly, I thought I'd give it a shot. Not bad. Kind of just bend it where you want it. It pretty much stays where you left it. And I mean, yeah, I got to get another spot now because I tore a piece. But I mean, for the most part, that works pretty slick. So, trick I'm going to keep in the back of my mind for the next time I do something that has a lot of bends and twists and whatever else. There. By golly, that'll work. I like it. Just gotta cover up the turbo. I got the rest of the hoses pretty well covered up. Got the cab all covered up. We're basically to the point now I'm going to take my actual wax and grease remover and a rag and kind of give everything a once wipe over. And we're going to hit her with epoxy and see what she looks like after that. Well, guys, we got one small hiccup here. So, had my little heater on so that way I could warm up my workspace, my perfect workspace here for painting. Of course, today's one of these days where it's raining outside. So the humidity level's about 1,000%. So my thought was, turn on the heater, burn the humidity out of the air, and then spray some primer and some paint on this thing. Well, that's all fine and dandy except for everything's condensating. Everything's all wet. Got condensation everywhere. Can't paint with that happening. My guess is with the 150% humidity, and now I've got it. Let's see, how high do I have it in here? Now I've got it, 77 degrees in here. The air warmed up a lot faster than that tractor metal did, so voila, condensation. So, well, I guess I'm on a little bit of a holding pattern. Let me check back with you in a little bit here. And guys, the best part, I mean, you've been watching me on TV here for the last several years. I've painted a lot of tractors in here. That's the first time I've ever ran into condensation slowing me down. It's always something new. New challenges. Well, friends, we're gonna try this on day 2. Yesterday was just a lost cause. That humidity was way too high. Not gonna happen. But today, well, the humidity's down to 93% from 150. So, hey, that's a step in the right direction. I've had my heater on. Tractor's not sweating today, so I'm just gonna go ahead and got a hot batch of primer mixed up. I'm gonna shoot the primer on this and we'll just see what sticks. Now, guys, keep in mind, it's important to wear eye protection pretty much most of the time with whatever you're doing. If you are spraying epoxy primer, it's especially important, wear goggles, not just your safety glasses, because what can happen? What can happen? The epoxy primer is kind of sticky, and it dries extremely, extremely hard. And there's a chance, if you're spraying epoxy primer and you should happen to get overspray on your eyelids, when you go to sleep at night, you might wake up in the morning and not be able to open your eyes. Not happened personally to me, but when an industrial coatings teacher taught us that, I thought, you know what? I'm not going to take that chance. So here we go. It's really amazing, guys, just how much difference something like simple, like a shot coat of primer on a rusty tractor, will really change its outlook. You know, she's not necessarily the nasty Ferguson anymore. Now it's just another old tractor. And 2, if you were wondering why I didn't tape that tire off, 2 reasons. 1, tape won't stick to it. And 2, generally as I've gotten a lot more practice doing a lot more tractor wheels, I've gotten to be where I can turn my gun down to just kind of a pin notch, and you know, guys, I'm not a bad aim, so what little bit does spray onto the wheel, you can kind of see it's a little darker right there. Before that primer or paint gets rock solid hard, just take a paper towel, a little bit of lacquer thinner, and just wipe it off. That way it won't look dumb. I mean, simple enough, right? So fellas, now that the air's a little clearer in here, I'm gonna let that thing set and flash off for about a half hour or so. Maybe get the heater on and get some heat to it, keep it warm in here. We're still holding about 65 degrees, so that's not bad. I think it's about 40 outside right now. I guess I'll take what I can get. So let's let that flash off. I'm gonna get my gun cleaned out, go get some silver paint. Let's make a silver bullet out of this thing. Well, we've hit that point. Everything's flashed, everything's dry. It's 68 degrees in here. I got a shot full of silver paint. I'm gonna start at the front, work my way back. Oh shit, there's the UPS. There, look what just showed up there. That's gonna be cool. Okay, anyway, let me get the spraying before it gets too cold in here. Looks pretty good. Well there, guys, what do you think of that? That's, you know what? Maybe I stand corrected. And when I said, no one's going to look at that tractor and say, man, look at that silver. Maybe. I mean, if I left it like that, they'd have no choice but to say, man, look at that silver, because the rest of it looks pretty bad. But that's definitely a step in the right direction. And again, to whoever told me to use tinfoil over everything that I didn't want painted, thanks. That was a pretty good little trick. Worked out pretty good. Keeps, you know, so it kind of looks like, you know, it doesn't look like it was painted yesterday that way by some hack, because they still got stuff that's the wrong color in there. So, thanks. I'll take that. My wheel's all painted up. I'm going to have to take my lacquer thinner and my rag and go around the outside, because there's a little bit of a mist there, but not bad. Oh, got a little bit of a run right there. that happens. Old painter one time told me, you know you got enough paint when you got runs in it. And who am I to argue with him? Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, forgot one. Oh, shoot, I forgot to paint one wheel. Hey, what's that? That's better. Huh, I don't know how I let that slip. Nevertheless, guys, so there we are. We got the silver done. Yay, one less thing. Well, I guess now I got to start on the fun part. All this red, which is now actually rust colored, but not to worry, it'll come around. Well guys, I guess today that's gonna do it for me. Not much more I can do until this gets dry and I can start making red dust in here and doing something else. So that's gonna do it for me, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
In a Carhartt vest. Ooh, I don't know what it is. I don't know what you want to call it, but you take an average Joe Schmo, stick him in a Carhartt vest, boom, I'm submissive and breedable. Ooh, this man looks like he can crack a crisp one with the boys, but he can appreciate a good glass of wine.